The show where there are no penalties, nothing is offside, and everything is fair game. This is The Gloves Are Off.
Welcome to this week's edition of The Gloves Are Off. I'm Moses Woldu. We've got a great show for you, and of course, we've got to show off the great guests and my co-host, Greg Buchanan, of course. How are you doing?
Not too bad, Moses, not too bad.
Excellent. I see you've been hitting the suntan.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Getting ready for a trip south, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. And of course, this man, Chris King, you're wearing the bright yellow shirt, so you don't necessarily have to have a tan, my friend. You are the coach for the Lakeland Rustlers women's basketball team. How's it going?
You bet. Not too bad. Looking forward to a little Christmas break here.
Get to rest and relax a little bit, right?
A little bit, little recruiting, but.
Okay. Well, you're always a busy man, Chris, and you can say the same about Daniel ALFREDSSON. Of course, the tour finally ending against his former team. It took a while, but they set the date in December, and what a game it was. Daniel ALFREDSSON had a goal and an assist in his debut against his former team. Got a great cheer, which is nice to see, the respect in terms of what he's done for that franchise since the beginning, or pretty much. Since the mid-90s or so. But you look at what happened to this team, you look at Daniel ALFREDSSON and the relationship that was kind of frayed a little bit. Where does Daniel ALFREDSSON go from here? Because I still think, in my opinion, that he still has an opportunity to rejoin this franchise. Not as a player, but in some type of role as an ambassador, some kind of player personnel type of thing. Does he ever have the chance to go back to Ottawa and do something like that in a front office role, say in the next 5 years or so?
I think so for sure. When a guy's that loyal to a franchise, I think you always want to bring a guy back. Obviously, this decision was kind of a business, and for him to end up his career, being a Bruins fan, I saw it happen to Bork, and it was tough for me to see with Bork. But I think you're always welcome back, and he was so good to that organization. I don't know why they wouldn't. Yeah,
17 years with one organization. In any professional sports, you don't hear that anymore. He still loved in Ottawa. Didn't get booed at all. I know I talked to Clark MacArthur, who was on the ice playing against him in that game, and he said it's just remarkable how well liked he is in Ottawa. And despite him going to Detroit, they still love him, and I still think there's going to be a place for him in the organization.
Yeah, the fans have no problem with him, but in terms of the relationship he had, it seems that some of it's kind of mended. But who knows what's going on with their front office? Do they still bring him in? Does
time heals wounds. Time heals wounds.
That's what you say?
Yeah.
All right, we'll go with that. I don't know if time heals wounds for the Edmonton Eskimos, but we'll see. 2014 is a new year. They'll have a new head coach. Chris Jones, who is known as a defensive guru, is joining the fold with the double E, I should say. So, guys, is this a smart move by Edmonton, knowing how difficult it is from that defensive standpoint they've had this season? We thought it was the offense, but the offense looked pretty good when they put up 30 points. Unfortunately, their defense put up 31 or more. So good move for the Eskimos to hire Chris Jones.
I always worry a little. I believe he hasn't head coached yet, right?
No.
And I always worry a little.
But he's won 2 Grey Cups as a defensive coordinator and has done a fantastic job.
Right. I always worry a little about that, the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, when they haven't head coached at some point. I just worry about that transition and if they're going to be focused on just one side of the ball.
Yeah, exactly. Richie Hall, great defensive coach, went up to Edmonton. Didn't work out too well. Not saying that's not going to happen to Chris Jones, but I think the Eskimos have a lot of issues in the front office too. And I think you have a rookie, pretty well rookie GM. This will be his second season as GM. You have a rookie head coach. Good luck.
You don't see any of this as a bright point at all?
Well, it's got to be a bright point.
He's a great hire for
I think he's a good hire, but again, he has no experience as a head coach. You have a general manager who has 1 year under his belt.
You know, I'll say this, 2 words for you, Corey Chamberlain. He had no experience,
but he
came in as a defensive coordinator with Hamilton, second year with the Riders, wins a Grey Cup.
But also at the same time, he also has a very good general manager with him in Saskatchewan. Okay, don't let that fool you. That if you have a good GM with a rookie head coach, it goes a long way to having a good team on the field.
Also, how long does he have? 3-year contract? What was the contract term?
Something like that.
Yeah. So as long as he's got time to build it and get used to it, okay, you do have some upside there, as you like to say.
All right, guys, we're going to stick with coaches. I like this one. It was my personal favorite week because there were a lot of stunts. Now, I don't know about you, Chris, but if you followed the chapter of, Kevin McHale or Jason Kidd or maybe even a Mike Tomlin, They were in the news for funny reasons. Of course, Jason Kidd with the hit me when he accidentally spilled his drink so he could give his team an extra timeout,
You
or
ever
at
do
least
that?
extra time to do
No.
a play.
No.
Then you also had Mike Tomlin, who was on the sideline nearly interfering, or was on the field, a play really, because you're on the white chalk, and nearly getting in the way of Jacoby Jones, and gave enough time for his players to kind of tackle him. And then, of course, you have Kevin McHale, who just decided to pass by Tim Duncan.
love that one.
Out of those three, which was your favorite?
I'm a Steelers fan, so I would say Tomlin seemed innocent, at least in his.
Oh, that grin, though.
Because
Come on,
yeah,
man.
no, I know. I think all three of those, I would be embarrassed as a coach to pull those. The one I didn't like the most was the one in front of Duncan, because Duncan's so well respected in Popovich, and I don't like McHale one bit. And the fact that he went back and forth, it's just immature, really.
Yeah, you know, Kevin McHale was hated as a Celtic everywhere. I think they didn't even like him in Boston. But yeah, for him to do that against Duncan, who's just one of the most respected guys in pro sports.
Okay, I understand you both don't like it, but you got to tell me which one was your favorite.
My-
Because they were funny moments to me,
I think
all of them in respect.
my favorite personally was the hit me, the dumping the cup, because I've seen similar situations to that where tell a guy to tie his shoe, or you throw your marker board on the, like I've seen that happen before. So I like the Jason Kidd one
It's
myself.
gamesmanship.
You know, we've done it in hockey where you need your team to have a bit of a breather. You're out of timeouts, so you have your goalie accidentally pull off a strap from his mask, just accidentally. So he's at the bench getting it fixed. Not saying I've ever done it, but yeah, I've done it.
But yeah, there you go. I want to say this, though. Mike Tomlin, potentially going to have a severe fine, along with the team losing a draft pick, whereas Jason Kidd's going to be fined $50,000. Do you guys think that the NFL is a little too excessive? I believe fining the coach. I have no problem with that. That makes sense to me. But to punish the team by losing a draft pick, does that make any sense at all? Is that the right move by the NFL?
No, it's ridiculous that they would take away a draft pick. You see borderline stuff on the sidelines all the time with coaches, assistant coaches. To take away a draft pick, I don't see how that helps the sport. I'd say if you want to take away more, fine them twice as much, whether it's $100,000, take away $200,000. I just don't see the point of taking a draft pick.
The no fun football league, you know, and there's so many things that are going on the field, off the field, that you're taking away a draft pick from a team that actually the head coach was, well, he was saying he was watching the play on the replay screen, and that's the reason why he lost himself. Come on, like a fine's okay, but taking away a draft pick, that's just not right.
All right, we're going to take away from this conversation, we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Antonio Smith and the Houston Texans claiming foul by the New England Patriots.